man, well, look what I have here. A nice fresh loaf of bread. And this loaf comes to us by way of a familiar face, Lucius Seneca the Younger, who says the following. Philosophy molds and builds the personality, orders one's life, regulates one's conduct, shows us what we should do and what we should leave undone, sits at the helm and keeps us on the correct course as we are tossed about in perilous seas. Without it, no one can lead a life free of fear or worry. Every hour of the day, countless situations arise that call for advice. And for that advice, we have to look to philosophy. So a couple weeks ago, we had our weekly family tradition of TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And on that day, we eat junk food and watch movies together. So my wife decided to make grilled cheese, which is junk food, I think. Anyways, our family likes it. My kids love it. But on this particular day, my wife decided to do something ingenious. She added chipotle mayo to the grilled cheese. And let me tell you something, that's friggin' delicious. I highly recommend it. After I took the first bite of the grilled cheese, I looked at my wife and I said, damn, do you remember life without chipotle? I feel like chipotle is good on everything. You can put it on anything and it makes it better. What a miraculous sauce. What an amazing thing. I said, Candace, do you remember life before chipotle? And she was like, nope. And I was like, me neither. I don't know how we lived without it. So what does this have to do with the Seneca quote about philosophy? Well, I feel the same way about philosophy as I do about chipotle mayo. I wonder how I ever got along without it. How I ever managed to live without a guiding philosophy, without principles, without beliefs to inform my every thought and deed. I don't know how I did it. The analogy that Seneca uses is quite apt because before I had a philosophy to rely on, I was indeed being tossed about in my ship by stormy seas, only I had no map, I had no compass, I had no direction. I was floundering and I didn't even know it. I was sailing in slow circles and thinking that I was making progress. But then something happened. I had a wake-up call and I started seeing the world differently. And I started reading, and thank God, I started reading Marcus Aurelius, which led me to Epictetus and, of course, our friend Seneca, who never ceases to amaze me. Seneca has a way with words, a way of describing things and talking about things that makes them so much more impactful. Maybe it's because he was a playwright. He was a cunning linguist. He had a way with words. What he says here about philosophy is maybe not true of philosophy in general, but it certainly is true of having a philosophy, a guiding philosophy of some sort. As Seneca says, every day we're faced with situations, questions, dilemmas, challenges, and where do we turn to for guidance when we encounter these? Where do we turn to for help, for advice, for best practices? Well, I don't know about you folks, but I turn to my philosophy, not to philosophy in general. I don't go to the nearby college and ask a philosophy professor for advice. No. I have my own philosophy that I've pieced together from the philosophies and traditions of others. And this is what I rely on whenever I have problems, whenever I feel down, whenever I have to make a tough decision. And let me tell you something. I don't know how I did it before. I don't know how I lived my life without it. Because literally everything I do, everything I say, everything I think is influenced by my philosophy. So if you're feeling a little bit aimless or lost, if you don't have any guidance or anything to turn to for help when you're feeling challenged or when you're facing adversity, well, you know what I'm about to recommend, don't you? DIY, baby. Do it yourself. Build, make, create, stitch together your own personal philosophy. Don't just adopt somebody else's. Don't just become a Stoic or a Buddhist or a Taoist or a Catholic. No, don't do that. You can't fit in those boxes, man. Those boxes weren't made for you. You got to make your own. That's the only one that's going to speak to you in a way that is impactful. That's the only one that's going to offer you the kind of guidance you can really, truly rely on. So get to work.